little bit more into it, and then we'll talk about the Smithsonian and I think it was the Philadelphian type of display somewhere out there. We'll talk about it later. But go ahead and speak with Mr. Luca.
Luca, you can unmute yourself. I'm not surprised. Luca Brazzi, please unmute yourself, or I'll do it for you. Let me see. Oh yeah, you have to unmute yourself. Luca,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Please be respectful though, but you can say whatever you want.
No, I agree. I got those statistics from the Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Statistics, and I found that to be, really odd. And why is that? I mean, you try to look at, the problems that, and I can't say that because certainly I am not black, and I cannot,
And that's
speak
good.
for you,
Go ahead.
and I can't speak for anyone else that's black. But it makes me think that there's got to be a problem somewhere for that to be the case, for that to be as large of a number as it is.
Can you pause there for a minute? What exactly is your ethnic group? And I don't want to hear white tea. What is your ethnic group?
I'm Sicilian.
Sicilian. Okay.
A Sicilian out of all people who came here and destroyed the United States by bringing drugs and unorganized crime, and what y'all do in your own country. Do you really want to go down that rabbit hole?
Well, you see,
Do you want to go down that rabbit hole? Yes or no?
I will go down that rabbit hole because
Okay, because
it's just
y'all
like,
are
listen,
gangsters,
no.
thugs,
You asked me to be
criminals.
respectful. I'm going to be respectful. Here's the
Yes, be
deal.
respectful.
Not everybody, like in the black race, not everybody is bad. And my parents and my grandparents came to this country. They came through Ellis Island. They worked very hard. They were not part of organized crime. Matter of fact,
Okay.
I mean, they worked hard to build what they have today, and that's the way it is.
Off
And
our
it's
backs. Y'all came in the late 1800s, and from Ellis Island, New York was already built from the slaves, because slavery ended July 4th, 1927. We was already there. So everything that you're saying work hard, we already worked hard and had our communities over there in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Okay,
would you not
great
agree?
communities.
Would you
Own
not agree though?
newspapers.
Would you not agree though that
You were
everybody
slums and
contributed
bums
to
and
the
criminals
building
when
of
y'all
this
came
country?
here.
Would you
Say
not agree?
that again?
Would you not agree though that everyone that came into this country has a part in building the country? So I mean, it wasn't just a black slave. Hey, look,
Y'all are add-ons.
they paid the price. They really did pay their price.
Go ahead. Let me control my damn temper, because y'all people have the nerve.
Okay. Can I just say something?
Go ahead, because I wanted to get on the statistics as well too. But go ahead, Queen. Go ahead, chop them.
Foundational Black Americans are the ones who built this country, and the immigrants who came after the work was mostly completed, right? The infrastructure, they contributed or participated, right? So the Asians usually get the credit, Chinese specifically, if not mistaken, for the railroads. But Mike's people actually did that, right? And they have pictures of our ancestors building the railroad and so on and so forth. But here's the issue, right? You may, and your family may have came here the right way, may have not said anything egregious to a foundational Black American, but you do hold some anti-Black sentiments to believe that crime rate, right? And so historical interactions between Sicilian immigrants and the foundational Black American community are complex, ranging from shared labor struggles to systemic racial conflict. While both groups often face common, enemies and white supremacist structures, friction points emerged as Sicilians navigated the American racial hierarchy. So y'all did have some, you adopted stuff to escape your own racial you were able to ascend to whiteness, right? And there was some racial conflict, especially in Coney Island. I just went through this with another Sicilian about a month ago. So you gotta understand that you coming here has harmed our communities, and you're up here spewing this rhetoric today, talking about you got this from a database. I think you said a .gov base, but if you broke it down, we were just talking about it, and I believe you were in the room, that foundational Black Americans are pushing for disaggregation. What does that mean? That a Jamaican will be listed as a Jamaican for the crime that they have. Do you know the Showers posse was sanctioned by the CIA to harm
Hey,
our community? The Showers posse is a Jamaican, GANG, who went from New York to Philly to parts of Texas too, causing violence and wreaking havoc on our
everywhere.
communities. So we have
Yep.
faced racial violence from all groups, from the Italians to the Sicilians, because you're Irish and
And they
Sicilian,
dumping
and the
drugs in our
Irish,
goddamn
the
community. You
Latinos.
you Sicilians and Italians, y'all literally helped the CIA and the government drop off fucking drugs in our communities. We didn't have that. Y'all sold it to us. Y'all dumped it in our goddamn communities. You pieces of y'all dumped it into our communities. Y'all was a part of the problem. Y'all created it. A lot of things that happened in our communities was economic base. We don't have a long lineage of destruction and killing ourselves. You may have isolated things there, but when you control a system and you deprive people from economic freedom and things of that nature, and you put them in certain facilities and limited resources and stuff like that, and it's poverty, and poverty could be anywhere. Crime is going to happen. So y'all don't take things in consideration as if nothing was a systemic. And then let's talk about you Sicilians, you Italians. You are a part of the problem. Y'all are criminals. Y'all are thieves. Y'all are criminals that sit back and try to act like nothing is like y'all got nothing to do with our destruction. Y'all brought the drugs here. Y'all, all immigrants that came into this country destroyed this goddamn country.
Well,
That's what y'all think.
that's your take on it. Listen,
You are
I never.
criminals and want to sit here and just try to sit here and try to
No,
erase
you know,
your
you could
history.
say that all you want. You could say that all
No,
you
but
want. But
it's
you know
true
what?
though.
Well, first of all,
But you
I
can't
have
tell me that it's
never,
not
ever
the truth.
committed crimes.
First
I'm
of all,
not
hold
one
on,
of
hold on.
those
Let me
people.
put you on mute because I don't. You ain't gonna get no respect from me. I don't care who you are. The statistics: 75% of y'all is PDF files. Yeah, y'all love human trafficking, incest, murder, blue collar crimes, all the horrific stuff y'all talking about. Y'all have control of the numbers. Y'all know that. So y'all play these games with us. Y'all really try to play games with us. And see, when I get frustrated, I kind of lose focus because y'all have the nerve, man. Like you people literally have the nerve. This is why we don't like none of you. I got no love for none of y'all because I never had love for my people. And don't even try to look at the shit that has been done to our people. We're not using it as an excuse. We got to just say what reality is. And you a peasant from Sicily. And y'all dying off in Sicily right now. Y'all it's never old people dying over there.
And that's where
Okay?
you're wrong because not everybody
Some of
is
y'all
the
live a
same
long
way.
time, but
And you're
I'm looking
putting
at it right now.
everybody into
Wait.
one class,
Now
and that's
stay there with
wrong.
that.
That is
Stay there
very,
with that
very wrong.
statement. Stay there.
First of all,
You just said.
I live in upstate New York.
Oh,
I don't care.
I'm in the town where Harriet Tubman lived,
oh
and I'll
God.
tell you
Harriet
something.
Tubman is from Maryland.
Mute
And
him,
let
mute
me
him,
tell
mute
you
him for a
this.
minute, mute him for a minute. See,
Harriet Tubman is
now
from
he
Maryland.
talked about us on a collective level, said that 50% of us was doing crime. Me and you are here talking about certain things that affected or impacted our community. We're nowhere doing the crime, right? He used a generalization for us, but now that we're going to tell him his people's collective issues with our community, he's practicing individualism. No, if we got to bear the brunt of everybody saying 50% of our community does XYZ, you got to bear the brunt too. So let me tell you something. Y'all were traded in being excluded from whiteness by turning on us so that you could get access to whiteness, okay?
That's right.
Right? And so, and y'all was able to blend in with the Italians in certain areas. So when it comes down to the unaliving of Michael Griffiths, although predominantly they were Italian Americans, some of y'all was probably in there too. Y'all gotta stop it.
Really, when it comes down to it, it sounds like you are racist. I'm sitting here trying to say that and trying to talk to you and trying to be part of this, and all you're doing is
I'm
you're
talking.
degrading the Italian people, all of them. You're degrading the Sicilian people, all of them. In reality, that's not the case. There are people that are bad in every race. And that's a fact, man. And you turn around and say, and you were about to say, we were all pieces of shit. And I heard, you caught yourself.
No, I was going to say that. Yes, you're right.
You
because
were.
That's what,
yeah, I know you were.
But that's what y'all talk about. Listen, by you coming in here with that statistics that you came in here with off rip, that already lets me know your mindset and how y'all really talk about my people when y'all sitting at the dinner table eating your pasta. So don't sit up here and play. You're not gonna play mind games with me. You're not gonna play these games with me.
I'm not trying to play any games. I came in with that statistic.
Listen. Hold on.
If it's a statistic, then there's a problem.
I want to say this, and I promise I'm gonna let you. And I promise I ain't gonna cut you off. I just want to say this real quick. I'll make it short, and I'll let you talk as long as possible. When we talk about statistics, like we just finished speaking on this. Sicilians classify as white, Italians, Irish, Chinese, Asian, Indian, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans. That is a whole different group of people under one banner. Mexicans do a lot of crime here. White people do a lot of crime. The Italians, it's still the mafia happening. I'm from Coney Island, Brooklyn. So I know a lot of, I'm not even going to go through all that. All the statistics for all these people that's considered white, do all the crimes, and every time they get locked up for crimes and convicted, that should show on the statistic realm. It should show on the statistic, but it doesn't. But when everybody, immigrants that is black, that has to classify as black, that's Jamaican, Trini, Honduran, Dominican, or whatever, their crimes are added on to ours. That's why it's so high. See, y'all get to filter and screen what y'all want to. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying, man. If y'all don't, I don't care. Because I know I'm making sense in my own way. But at the end of the day, you can't sit up here and play with us knowing what your people, who your people are.
I had no intention to come up and play. That was not what I was doing. What I was saying, there was a problem. However, you just pointed something out. And I'm willing to see the difference between you and I. I'm willing to go a different direction. My family also is from Brooklyn, and quite frankly, on Coney Island Avenue. My grandparents owned a hardware store on Coney Island Avenue, and going back a long time ago.
Right.
They're gone now. But the reality is that you're right. There is a problem because most of the other crime is not classified by ethnicity. It's classified by white. So, yeah, I get what you're saying in terms of, well, the statistics say black, and that will be inclusive of a lot of other people as well. But again, that doesn't make me hold anything against, you as a person, the other person on the panel as a person. I try to, want to include everyone in my life, not just, Italians, not just Irish, not just black. I want everybody in my life. And until we get to that point, we're going to have some issues in this country, man. And I'm sorry that you're the ones that are getting the brunt of it.
But see, nobody is saying that even nobody's not here. Everybody's comfortable with our oppression. If y'all really feel some kind of way, why don't y'all help? Because y'all have the complexion for the protection. Y'all want to keep that complexion. Y'all want to keep that privilege. So if y'all really care, y'all have I want to say full. I will stretch it by saying full access to speak for us, or at least try to help. Talking about it ain't gonna do nothing. I could say, hey man, I love your people all day. So if y'all really feel some kind of way and everybody participated in our decline, our demise, and everything that's happened that ever happened to us,
why not help? Your question. So what do you think right now of the? I'm going to ask you about two things. What do you think
Mhm.
about the immigrant situation, and what do you think about in New York City, especially the Muslim situation?
We spoke about this last week. We got to prepare for the Muslims, and I think this is all planned anyway. This is, to me, this is all a script. It's going to be a civil unrest, and it's going to start with these ticky boom dudes. Far as immigration, or the immigrants in New York, I don't like it because, especially like for foundational Black Americans, they are being helped by the government to replace us. We're not going to say that they didn't come here to work hard. Fine, we work hard too, but y'all use our classifications to get into political seats and I'm going to say merge or whatever to sabotage our plight, what's rightfully owed. It's soft for someone. So this is why we delineate and we reclassify ourselves as foundational Black Americans, because you can't remix it. No other culture can crowbar into it. But I'll let BX explain a little bit better. But I'm totally against all of those immigrants in New York, and they still in our culture as well. So
And I agree with that too. If your other panelist wants to comment, I'm also willing to listen.
Okay,
go
thank
ahead.
you.
Love. You
So
have
I
any
want
thoughts?
to
I'll
go
be right
back
back.
to the saying that I was racist or the host was racist. You have to understand racism requires a certain element of power. Foundational Black Americans do not write legislation to block y'all from education opportunities, home ownership, business loans, so on and so forth. So the word you were looking for was bigoted or prejudiced, and you got to start putting the proper word in your lexicon. And I would give pushback to that because I have my computer open, seeing what your people have done to mine, right? And I said they were mostly Italian, and some of you were in there. So I didn't say all or the whole. As far as the immigrant population, I want everybody. The ideal immigrant comes here for an opportunity, and we understand that. What happens after they get the opportunity is what we have an issue with. As the host was so eloquently stating, is that they came here to kind of sabotage us. So there's a really good book that you can go read or listen to on audiobook. It's called Back of the Hiring Line by Roy Beck. This is all by design, but the immigrants have to understand, not every one of them have anti-Black American sentiments, right? Anywhere I go in New York, if I don't speak Spanish or if I don't pass their test, I don't look good, good enough for them, and they understand I'm a Black woman, then guess what they do? I face microaggressions, right? So I think that everybody with a homeland should actually go home. Right? How do these countries get repaired if you're over here displacing the foundational people who built this land? Right? And then y'all don't even have any, and I'm saying y'all generally, I'm not necessarily talking only about Italians. We've seen this from every demographic, from the 1863 draft riots, right? With the Irish, when they attacked women and children in an orphanage. Why? Because they were able to be drafted and Black Americans were not. What they did was they attacked women and children, and they saved the worst of the brutality for our Black men. And they used what was called the wheelbarrow method, where they tied the Black men to a wheelbarrow and pulled them apart. These are the type of things that we face. And it's not only specific to white tea people, right? We could go to the Latinos. They have a gang called the Latin Kings, right? And
Yes,
so what they
yes.
did was they used to attack foundational Black Americans or Black people,
Yeah.
people who were melanated. And so that's how the red and the blues got to New York, because our men was trying to protect themselves, right?
On the island. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Around
And
this.
so with the Caribbeans, what we're finding now, there's a lady on video. She was actually detained by the police, and then she starts speaking. And instead of saying, I didn't do it, officer, she says, don't unalive me here. I'm a
Be like
Jamaican.
Black people.
Unalive a
Yeah.
Black American. Black
Okay.
Americans,
Yes.
I can tell
Yeah.
you, we do not
Remember that.
think about anything but calling our parents or our spouses if we have an interaction with the police, maybe our siblings, but never do we tell the police to unalive another demographic. Everybody comes here and it's so unfair to foundational Black Americans. And the moment we say, whoa, 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 they're really committing the crime, and it's backed by stats, because now even the news media is saying a Haitian committed fraud, a Jamaican unalived this one, this, so on and so forth. It's no longer the Black community is doing this, the Black community is doing that, a Black woman, a Black teen, they're putting it in proper context. That's all we ask. So that's what we were really talking about. And we were having a talk about a Caribbean man who was accused of SA of little boys or boy teens and stuff like that. So we do talk about things and hold people accountable, even if they're in our own community or considered our community. And you come in here with that stat, and I'm like, and that's about all this pushback, because we hold ours accountable. We do. Right. And it's we're attacked by everybody, but even words can be harmful to us, because what we're facing, Mr. Luca, is called ethnocide. It's a deliberate, systemic destruction of an ethnic group or a culture. And that's what foundational Black Americans are facing. I want you to look across the pond at the UK. Everybody who's melanated over there has a Caribbean or an African accent background, right? Where are the people before the wind rush? Because we do know Black people were over there before then. They faced an ethnocide. Either they totally assimilated into the culture that started, what I'm saying, or they were pushed somewhere else. And so when I hear a supposed Black Brit start speaking, I say, but they're Caribbean. Why are they speaking as if they're a Black Brit? And so that's what Black Americans are fighting against here in America, especially in New York, especially in Florida, especially in places like Washington. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we're going through all this, and those stats are inaccurate until we get the numbers disaggregated. MENA, Middle Eastern Northern Africans, just got disaggregated from the white T population. They will no longer be counted as white T. Do you know what comes with that besides being out of white T crime statistics, if they were even in there? Tangibles, set-asides. All these people who are foreigners are getting not only incentives with funding here in our nation, but funding is being sent to their nations, totally depleting the foundational Black American community. And not to mention, they call us all bullies, but we ain't bullies when they're putting their businesses in our areas and they're taking our money and sending it out in remittance. So an immigrant can say they pay taxes, they do this, that, and the third. There's no trickle-down effect. And here come the Asians taking away affirmative action. But guess why Black Americans ain't upset? Why? Because white teen women benefit the most from any program that we have for us, right? And then comes the buffer classes, the Asians, the Caribbean, the Africans, the this, that, and the third. So I don't care I want the immigrants to go. They have homelands they could build. They came here, they weren't good allies. They turned their backs on who could have been their strongest allies. They would have never been facing Trump had they stood in true alliance with a foundational Black American. And that's on period. I land.
Well, listen, I agree that there's a lot of problems, and a lot of it comes from the past, with Italians, with Irish, and with Blacks as well. You watch, you look at movies. Let's say the fictional stuff. I go to Florida every now and then, and I went to this community for. I bought a house down there and went into a community for 55 and older. I went to the pool one day, and I had my granddaughter with me, and people thought, because of the way I looked, and I'm sure you could relate to this, the way I looked, that I was mafia.
Mafia, gotcha.
Yes, that I was connected in some way to organized crime, and they thought that.
You sound like it.
And that's
you sound like it. Jimmy, give me the
so you see, I guess what I'm saying is we all have problems that way, but how do we resolve them without creating more chaos? It's not by hating each other. We can't do
It's,
that,
it's,
man.
but it's not hard. Look in the mirror. Because this is a great question to ask a Sicilian or an Italian, someone who is not Anglo-white. What did black people ever do to the world to get the treatment that we get from y'all? What did we do? Because y'all came here off the rip not liking us. What did we do to Sicilians but blacking up your island from the Moors? Because we know half of y'all, if you go, what? Because a generation is 25 to 30 years. If we just go 100 generations back, y'all looking black. And those are bars. But the initial question, what did black people or foundational black Americans do to the world for y'all to treat us the way y'all do? Can you fully go back into your mental Rolodex to know what's the initial issue against us?
Slavery would be the initial issue. It started with that. I mean, when the first slave traders came into this country and started selling black people as commodity, started the problem, and it created this myth that that's all y'all were gonna be and all y'all gonna do. And that was that right? Of course not. It wasn't right. We fought the Civil War to try and right that, to try and get it straight so that it wouldn't continue. However, it was embedded so badly that it's still carried on in generations to come. And
right. It's literal because exactly how you got on here showing statistics. So you have not outgrown that myth that you believe in, because right off the bat, you came in with that rhetoric.
I also said, and like I say, I'm willing to learn. I also said what you said made sense to me about the statistics, because again, the classification for Italians, Irish, Germans, it's all white. It's all white. With black, it's just black, and that way it can flaw the statistics, and that'll probably be the last time I ever say that because of what you said today. See, I want to learn from this experience. I don't want to just come into this here and say, well, hey, listen, these statistics are all it, and that's it. The DOJ is right. I don't care what anybody tells me. But see, you made a point, and the point is right. And that's the difference. I feel I will go what's right and not wrong. And that's my barometer. I'm not going to go and keep promoting this the statistic, knowing now that it was pointed out to me that it's flawed.
Very flawed.
And yes, and I of course I had no idea of that until you brought that up. But the point, again, the hate has got to stop, whether it be on my side, your side. There is no side. We all bleed red, brother, and that's it.
I want to add on to that. I got you, sweetheart. I just want to add on to, and I agree with you, but I disagree with your last statement. Hate on both sides. Ours is from generations of pain and being victims. We take accountability for the shit that we do to ourselves, but we're not talking about that. That's something that we have to go in the house and clean up about. That's our own family issues. So we take accountability for the dumb shit that we do, but we ain't talking about that. Now, the hate that you're saying that is reciprocal from us to y'all or the other side or whatever, no, these are reactions to y'all actions. Decades and generations of this, and I don't want to put too much emotion into it because it does hurt when you really understand. When we have to sit back and try to understand, why is this shit happening to us all the time? And then it's from every other group that we thought that was our friends and family, and we fought for them, and all we got was backstabbers, people we can't trust. So all of this, what you think is hate, is just generations of trauma and pain and just reacting, and we just not playing with nobody no more. So it's not hate. Y'all got to fix your own backyard. And we don't have the problem. We ain't create this problem. We didn't create none of this shit. We just recipients of an ongoing generational curse that's been placed upon us in hatred. So what y'all have to do is go in y'all homes when y'all have y'all grandkids being born. Y'all teach them the right things. If y'all want to help, y'all go to these goddamn. You speak to your local Congress and so for so on. But nothing is going to happen. Y'all have to change first, and we will adjust accordingly. Y'all change.
Well, and there is a certain amount. You're correct in a certain amount of that as well. But at the same time, you're talking about a history, and the history you cannot tell me over the years from the day that blacks were enslaved to this date today that things have not changed for the black man and women today. Because
stay there.
I would have to say, I mean, I can't, like I say, I don't walk around in your skin, so I can't say exactly what you feel, and I don't know that.
Or what
But
we
the
experience.
reality is I can control what I feel and how I go. And I think the majority, you'll always see, white people trying to get involved in blacks' business. And I look at that and I say, damn, man, if they wanted us to be involved, I mean, I saw a protest. I saw something going on, and they were protesting. Black folks were protesting. I want to say a police shooting that probably should have never happened, and they were gathering together, and they were walking down the street, and this white woman ran to join the group, and two black women turned around and says, "Yo, we don't want you here. Get out of here. We don't want you here." Now, if that's the way help is going to be received, don't you think that's discouraging?
I'll let BX answer. Hold on, I got you. I'm gonna let you answer. But after she finished, I want you to stay for a while. I don't want you to leave because I want to end this on a good note because you seem. I don't want to. I get some sincerity in you, and I get it, or at least you want to understand. I get it. So if you really want to understand, here's what we got to say. Go ahead, BX.
Like I say, the rest of this conversation is a courtesy conversation. We can't forget that white tea women have been the cause of a lot of Black Americans losing their lives, specifically Black men with false allegations. Emmett Till, right? Carolyn Bryant was able to live out the rest of her life after admitting that she lied. So white tea women in our community, it depends on the demeanor of the white tea woman. It depends on how she said it. But sometimes we don't need white tea women interfering in our mess. Because part of the reason why we be in the mess is because of her. Just to put that out there. And that's documented throughout history, right?
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
But here's what's a courtesy part of this conversation, because your input is really not going to be taken into consideration if you don't answer the way that I Anyway, I got to say this: America has a stain on its fabric, right?
Hold on, I'm sorry. Can you smoke a cigarette on TikTok?
I don't think you should. Move out to the side.
I need a cigarette. All right, go ahead. I'll turn the camera.
Okay. So, and don't let no type of anything that could be mistaken as, liqueur. So the stain on America's fabric is slavery. And in order for that stain to be removed, the Black American community, the foundational Black American community, has to be repaired. Programs aren't going to cut it. More welfare isn't going to cut it. And when we look at the white tea wealth in this country compared to the foundational Black American wealth, there is a very large disparity. And I ain't talking about the buffers. I ain't talking about the Caribbean, the Haitians, the Nigerians. I ain't talking about none of them folks, the Asians or anything. I'm talking about white people and their generational wealth, which a large part came from forced labor of our ancestors. And so at this time, foundational Black Americans are demanding reparations from our government. And slowly but surely, we are making progress. There are states now who have some form of a reparations proposal that has been approved. Federally, we're not there yet. But what do you think about reparations specifically for foundational Black Americans?
Well, I do have an opinion on that, and I'm going to be very honest with you. I think that, slavery ended with the Civil War. Now, if you have relatives that were slaves, and you can substantiate that, however, the relatives probably should be getting the reparations. I just don't see how every Black person how it would even help every Black person if they were to get reparations because of that. The mistakes were not made by me. I'm a taxpayer. I didn't make those mistakes. I don't agree with what happened back in those days. And my taxes are high enough, and I look at it from that point of view. It certainly has nothing to do with being a racist, but it has to do with my pocketbook. I'm a retiree.
Hold on, the pocketbook. I got you, BX.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got you. Okay. So what about all right. The small hats. You know who the small hats is, right? You don't have to say it out loud. The people who's having a issue with Iran or Ben Netanyahu. You know those people the way they
yes,
okay.
I know you.
Okay, so annually they get billions and billions of dollars, millions upon billions of dollars annually. Does it affect your pay when you at work? Does it affect your check? If you do those amount of hours, you still get that which you get paid what you worked for, right? This is annually. All of these, they just sued. What was that? What college? Columbia University. It got awarded $100 million just because they don't agree with those people. They didn't do nothing harmful. They just had an opinion and they sued and got money. We could go all the way back to the Japanese Pearl Harbor. We could go to so many things, funding the war in Ukraine. All of these benefits that they're giving to the immigrants, 30,000 for free housing, a free house with mortgage, $2,500 each month on food stamps, $2,000 in cash on your food stamp card. So I could go further and further, but how is it that everybody has money, just spending it and giving it to other people, but when it comes to us, y'all gotta check your checkbooks. Y'all gotta check your balances now.
No, I'm not. Hey, listen.
And I close. The same very system that did everything to us to be the wealthiest nation in the world, that same government is still in business right now. It's still here. It's still operating. The past, the present, and the future. It's still here. United States of America was built off our backs. So the perpetrators, regardless of it happened years ago, y'all are still the beneficiaries of that, what happened to us. So why y'all counting y'all pocketbooks now? Y'all checking y'all balance. Y'all checking y'all balance. Y'all want to check your card, see how much you got now. But when everybody else, you just spend it frivolously.
No, I don't agree with them. I don't agree with them spending that money like
but
that.
It's happening.
I certainly don't. But the only way that we're going to resolve that is by the representatives that we elect to go into office. However, even when we do that, it seems like these people make promises. Oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then when they get into office, they kind of lose focus and they don't do anything that they say. I mean, look you're not on the other end of that stick. It's us.
They promise us everything. Y'all get what y'all need. You still a part of the white society. Not saying that you don't have your obstacles and stuff like that. You got the work to get paid, of course. Yes, and you owe property tax. We get all that, but y'all still have privilege. Privileges. So those promises is always for everybody else, and we get nothing. We are not the same. We're not the same. Systematically, things are being put in place for a specific group of people that are black, the real black people, foundational black Americans, formerly known as African Americans. We are the ones that's targeted. All of y'all get the benefits. If BX, if you want to add on, take it away.
Yes. So he did mention that his family willingly migrated here the right way, and with that migration comes they have to take the debt, take the joy and the accomplishments of what it is to be an American, right? Because they're an American, and to top that off, they're white tea American. So with that migration, there was a population here who was treated unfairly, and reparations is allowed to be paid to a harmed group. The things that have happened to our ancestors in the past are still happening today. What is that? Strange fruiting. Rope around the neck, put on a tree, right? Police brutality is a form of modern day strange fruiting, correct? The civil WAR did not end slavery, right? Because people were still enslaved after the Civil War ended. In New Jersey, there were still about 16 enslaved persons whose names we'll never know, right? And they were finally emancipated in 1866, okay? 1866, after the 13th Amendment was ratified in Jersey, because it was state by state. Also, you have to understand slavery never really ended if you were incarcerated, right? So if you were incarcerated, then you would be victim or liable to face slave labor, and nobody would bat an eye. That is what led to mass incarceration. That is what led to us being targeted. Even our babies.
Even in the Reconstruction era,
Right.
they passed laws because we was
Right.
free to make sure that we go into slavery, bondage, and being locked up. Go ahead, love.
Right. So here's that issue. Even our children were targeted. The juries were either all white tea,
Yes, indeed.
and during that time, or they never even made it to trial. Because
Right.
the LYNCH mobs that were out there. Right?
That's
Then
right.
we go to black codes, Jim Crow law. Let's not forget all the towns that we had, the wealth that we had that was
swear to God,
destroyed by
get that
non-Anglos.
now.
But the white tea immigrants, such as the Irish, the Italians, the this, that, and the third, that ran up in our communities and ambushed us and destroyed our communities because they were jealous that we were thriving. So we had wealth. We were enslaved, right? We had the land taken from us, and we're still facing eminent domain today.
Now.
We're still faced with being landowners and them taking our land. Our farmers are disadvantaged too, but not all,
Yes.
but many. And when they
Yes.
get a settlement, do you know how they word it? Black people in marginalized groups, or black people and others. We can never be fully repaired, right? Even when we win a settlement, because here come the immigrants.
And let me infuse this. Even with Donald Trump had something for the farmers. This was a couple of months ago, very, very, very recent. And all of the white farmers, the black farmers, wanted to go to this meeting, and they excluded all the black farmers. This is literally within weeks ago, a month ago, very, very recent. But if you want to add on BX, or if you want to respond,
I'm gonna add on. And also, we have farmers who are still being attacked by white farmers. There's a family now who wakes up and their farm animals are unalived. They're threatened. Like, we're still facing.
They just did a drive-by on him. The black farmer guy that she's talking about, they just did a drive-by on his farm. That was since this is a new day. That's 2 days ago.
Yeah,
The white neighbors
there's
is doing that.
So
you
when
you
we say, I'm
definitely
gonna land
see.
here, Luca, I'm gonna land here.
Go
So,
ahead.
you may not want to pay taxes, your taxes to be raised for our reparations, but you benefit off of everything our ancestors went
It's just
through in this land. Everything. You benefit off everything that my ancestors built, because we got 55K packs, right? Your doorknob is because of my ancestors. The
that
modern
very same
structure
cell
is
phone
because of
that you
my
on.
ancestors. The traffic light is because of my ancestors. And if you like ranch dressing, that's because of my ancestors too.
That's
Okay?
right.
JP
That's right.
Morgan and Chase is still in effect benefiting off of my ancestors' enslavement. If you put
Wall
your money
Street.
in there, you're supporting the slavery that my ancestors were under, the condition they were under. So here's the thing, Mr. Luca, and I'm a land. You willingly migrated here. This country had a history, right? It still has a history. It's never repaired the harm group in this country, but it's repaired everybody else. Why? Because my country is y'all liberator. But my country further subjugates and oppresses me and my people. They don't liberate us. And here y'all come with an opinion. You don't want your taxes raised. Well, honey, I don't want to see my many trees no more. I don't want to see the cops targeting my children no more. And I damn sure don't want to see them targeting me. And I don't want to walk into another Latino establishment where they throw microaggressions at me because I don't speak Spanish. Right? Or I'm locked out of jobs with 3 degrees, but because I don't speak Spanish and they conforming to the immigrants, I won't have a job of my pay grade. So yeah, you're going to pay reparations when it's approved to us, and we will get reparations. They're rolling out state by state, sir. Your taxes will not be affected when they're still
Oh, wow.
institutional, right? And we paying the small hat. Reparations. Did we forget that? And
Every
they're
year.
nothing to them happen on this land.
Yep.
Well, you
Yep.
listen, that
Go
may
ahead.
happen, but I again,
No,
and maybe
it has
I did
happened, not
not
may.
include, I did not include the other, problems that we have with money. We happen to be a country that just throws money at the problem, and
And we
and and
also print
solves
money
and
too,
solves
correct?
absolutely nothing. And I'm against all of that as well. So while I don't like the idea of reparations because I don't think there's a fair and equitable way to make that distribution. But the reality is that they shouldn't be doing that or any of this other stuff as well. When Obama was in office, what did he do? When Clinton was in office, what did he do? When Bush was in office, what did he do? They were sending money over to Iran. And what
Yep.
was happening to Iran? Iran was taking that pallets of money that were being sent over in C-130 cargo planes, and
Yep.
they were
That's from
putting it
Obama. Obama
into
sent that
they were
plane with
putting
all
it
that
into
money.
terror. They were putting it into terror. And when I say they were putting it into terror, they were putting it into terror not only against white people, but against Americans, which includes you. And that means that's a bad thing. It's not
I,
good. It should have
That's
never
not our
happened.
problem. Just give me my bread. What that to be honest, that's not our problem. Where is my money? And then and respectfully, because I want to end this on a good note with you. All right.
Me
But
too. Me too.
but damn, I just lost my point. I hate my sidebars. I hate when I
Did
do
not
that.
Rand say they have no problem with Black Americans? Did I Rand say that?
Who
Right.
said that? Who has no problem with Black Americans?
Iran.
When they have black hostages, they release black hostages because they already know what was going on with black people here. And I found my point. When she asked you the great question about how you feel about reparations, you not once say, "Well, I understand what your people went through." Those things, even the sympathetic part, we don't want no sympathy. To be honest, we way beyond sympathy. But just the thought that didn't even come out your mouth because you automatically thought about your people, your pockets. Now, what if these things happen to your people? How would you feel? If this happened towards your people,
Well,
how would you feel?
Yes.
Let's talk about it from that. Let's stick with that answer from that point. If everything
Okay.
that happened to us was Sicilian people, how
Okay,
would you feel?
let me answer.
Gotcha. Good.
My parents, of course, they're dead. Excuse me, unalive.
Rest in
And
peace.
I am. You got to understand. I am 76. I don't know how much longer I got on this planet.
Well, God bless you, because I
But
want to live to that age as well. Go ahead.
my parents used to tell me that not only were they singled out and had problems very much like prejudice against them, and even more so towards my grandparents. So they were faced with those same kinds of things, maybe not to the same degree. Like I said, I could never put myself in your skin, so I do not know. But I can only say what my parents have said to me, and that's what I have been told. And I used to hear that from my friends that were Irish, that my friends that were Polish, that my friends that were German. They all said the same thing. They all had their trials and tribulations. Now, did they ask for reparations? No. They worked harder. They said, "This is what I was
Irish
told."
got paid. The Irish got paid for their indentured servants. They got paid, and then on top of that, their reparations came from being classified as white, and to be able to have the luxuries that we can't have,
Yeah,
or
but
the
do you remember?
opportunities.
Do you
Right.
recall?
So this is what I'm saying. Y'all say things, but overlooking what has been done to help y'all. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
but
So
in
in
19,
any response, respectfully, any response that you may give, and it could come from a genuine place of how you feel without any disrespect. But we have to, but us, we've been through it so much. We know the intricacies and the real history to show how y'all benefited greatly
yeah,
by saying because y'all worked hard. No, you got a handout, brother. Y'all
yeah.
got
Well,
handouts.
hey, look, that may be so, but I do remember
It
back
ain't no
in.
maybe.
Look,
These are historical facts.
I got victimized
Come on, man.
myself in 1970. I had taken the test. I had taken civil service tests, and they came out with affirmative action. And affirmative action, what it did is
Help more white women.
it unleveled the playing field. In other words, it didn't work on qualifications anymore. It worked on numbers. And the numbers were, it was broken down into blacks, women, black women, white women, and I want to say then the rest of us. And as a result of that, those people were boosted higher up on a civil service list. And as a result of that, even though I had scored in the 90s on this test, I did not even get an interview. I didn't even get called for the job. So, affirmative action was something that was supposed to be for non-whites. And again, it did roll over into women. But at the same time, it was for really to try and level the playing field for Black Americans, Black women Americans, and that was the way it was. And of course, I lived with that decision. Everybody has to live with the decisions that the government makes, unfortunately, unless you have a person like the person on this panel who has knowledge, who seems to be very intelligent. She should be the one that's out there running for political office, and she should be the one that's out there fighting for the rights of your people as well. And people will get behind her because of that.
Go ahead, you can respond, BX, because I know you want to.
Yeah, I think that I'm done here. Affirmative action, there wouldn't have been like he said, it was to level the playing field, but we do know white teen women benefited the most. And then the Asians actually benefited and crying now that they helped Edward Bloom take it away because Black Americans are still at a steady pace And they're flunking. They're still not getting accepted to the places they wanted to be in. So as I said before, the reparations conversation was a courtesy conversation because I really don't have these type of topics with white tea people, especially if they have an immigrant background. Because when you migrate here, you take on all aspects of the country, and there's a debt that's owed to my people because we're still going through. Not only that, America. Let me say this. America is about inheritance. I am a genealogist. So I see where white tea enslavers have willed my ancestors to their heirs, right? So they willed their wealth to their beneficiaries. They willed away people. Some of those people were mine. Some of those were the hosts. And so the same way they had an inheritance given to their descendants, ours was cut short. And if we did get some form of wealth, it was destroyed. Everybody had a hand in destroying our wealth. We're taking our land, but nobody wants to repair us. That's asinine to me. So until that stain is removed, until we're repaired, the stain will never be lifted off of America's fabric. But foundational Black Americans will get our reparations. And the same way everybody's quiet when foreign aid is going out, quiet when Obama gave the small hats their reparations, when he gave one native tribe one of the largest amounts in reparations, when he paid Guam reparations. Other people have gotten reparations. And we're watching everybody get reparations, and we ain't even on the board yet.
Lady Six, if you have something to say, hold on. Let me let Lady Six speak real quick. Unmute yourself.
Sure. Okay, yeah, 'cause I could go all day. Sorry.
Now you good, BX. You be cooking. Lady Six, what's up?
So I was scrolling right just now, and I seen what you said about Gucci Man, and me looking at you being a grown ass man, right? And you think he told on that little boy who he fed, who he went and got out the gutter, and they come in there and play with him like that in his life. This man is married with children.
You talking about?
Hold
on. You coming here on a whole different. You can talk
I
about
told
this
you
another
that.
time.
I put it in the comments. I told you that, but you brought me back, and I just told you again, like I'm gonna let you go ahead on with your laugh. Just fine.
All right, well, go right ahead. I ain't got time. You baby. I'm about to unfollow your ass soon. But go ahead, Luca.
Yeah, no, as much as I would like to stay, I cannot. But I do want to part on good terms, and I will follow you. I hope you will follow me back. If not, that's okay.
I've been sent you a follow already.
Well, good. See, I'm not that familiar with TikTok. I'm not really familiar a whole lot with social media. As I said, I'm old. So the reality is, in my generation, we did not have all of this stuff. We went outside and played, and we did things that were a little different than what happens today. So what I want to say, it has been enlightening for me. It's been an educational process for me, and I hope I walk away as a better person. And it was nice talking to both of you.
Same here. I'm going to ask you one last question. This is off. This is off topic, right? So, are you from Brooklyn? So, can you say Coloniana Avenue? Have you? I'm pretty sure you know about Bensonhurst because that's damn near Bensonhurst or Gravesend. So, you been around those parts?
My father was brought up in Bensonhurst, not me. I was born. My family, again, was born in Brooklyn. Okay. My brothers, my grandparents had 5 daughters and 1 son, and they were mostly raised in Brooklyn. They are now all over the country. And my father chose to come upstate New York, way upstate, and raise his family outside the city. So, no, other than going there to see my family and learn how to ride the trains to Coney Island and watch the fireworks on Tuesday nights with my family, I really don't have the sense of those areas.
Okay, cool. Well, because I was going to ask some questions, but it's all good. But thank you, and I just want to say this: the reason why I'm glad we had this conversation because it no matter how old a person is, whether black, white, man, woman, whatever, we still don't know everything. Now, I don't want to play with your intelligence to say that you already knew. I'm not in your mind. But at least if you sincerely saying that you learned something, the only thing I can respond to you from you saying that is teach the ones that you love the same thing.
I
So
agree.
it can
All right.
spread. That's all. That's the only advice I can give. Don't save what you learned. Spread it and hope they. I mean, to us, we at the point we don't really care, but it still will be a plus if people understood, and if you learn something, you understand it, pass it on to ones that you love, and hopefully it'll trickle down. That's all. That's the only thing I can say. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
And I appreciate you too. Thank you very much.
All right. God bless you, man.
Same to you, brother. Bye.
Peace.
Hey.
See, that was good. I really enjoyed that conversation. And I'm glad how it ended. And it should be at some conversations I don't want to say deserve, but this conversation damn, I've got the I don't even know the word to choose because I'm so tired and everything at the same time, but this conversation needed to end the way it did. You know what I mean? But other immigrants conversations would end on some F you, get the hell out of here, and whatever. So this conversation merit this ending. So salute to Luca, and hopefully he learned something. What's your thoughts about this whole conversation, love? And whether you agree with me or not, it's fine.
Yeah.
You need to smoke my cigarette. Shit.
Let me so let me tell you. That question, the reparations question, would usually be one of the first that I would ask when speaking to white tea people.
Right.
Because all that, especially if I would have heard the word brother. However, the statistic in the chat is the reason he came up. So I was kind of off, I wasn't on point because I was just pissed about the comment. But I'm happy that we did have the conversation. I think this is a conversation I hope that you would put on YouTube for others to see, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing that. Yep.
And I want the message, and I want the message to be put even to the melanated immigrants who say we don't talk to white tea, or we would never say certain things to white tea, to get the message to. We go after everybody. If you run a platform that you want this type of conversation, so I really had to tone it down because everybody know I could go up. And you have a knack for doing that. Remember the girl that was bothering me about my children? He was like, "Don't take the bait, BX. Don't take the bait."
Right. So I'm about to put that up too. So I got all that queued up. So I'll be putting it back up,
Okay. So I think that we do need to have these type of conversations. He said he has some typical white tea talking points, but I think we handled that with facts.
Yeah.
A little bit of feelings, because but I just want to get the point across. They don't have no say in what we are demanding from our government. They willingly migrated here. That means they're going to take on the debt of our government too, right? Because we do know that the country gets our foreign aid. There are representatives saying the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, deserve reparations. Conveniently, everybody's getting reparations except for foundational Black Americans. And the moment we mention it, we don't have the money. I don't want my taxes affected. Your taxes wasn't affected. Your pockets wasn't affected with all the money that Kamala and Biden was handing out. Because I know I breathe easier financially under Trump. I mean, I ain't where I want to be, but I really wasn't where I needed to be with Kamala and them. So I feel good about the conversations that we had, and I'm just glad that I ain't go left. So they were look at typical angry Black women. But I think that I would be open for more conversations as long as they are. They still got that. I don't know if we could call that respectful though, Mike. What would you call that? The purposely, the misstated, misquoted, the stereotypical type of talking point.
Yeah, that type of rhetoric. Yup,
right, the rhetoric. His tone was okay, and he
Yeah, he
I'm
did
just
good,
glad
man.
that it went the way it went. I'm gonna say that. I don't know if I call it respectful because I think there was a layer of disrespect
Yeah,
intentionally. And when he said when I said, well, white teen women be putting their nose where it shouldn't be, so and he was like, I agree with that. But then he just
right,
did the same thing when he came in here and started commenting.
right. Oh, I ain't gonna see what you put in the comments.
When he was like 13% of the fifteen
Oh yeah,
percent
you
of the
told me to read it, so
population.
that was him. Okay,
Yeah,
got you.
that was him.
Yeah,
So he does the same thing that the white tea woman do, but it didn't go
right,
left. And I think this is a
right.
good conversation for people to hear. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna put this one up um today. Once I get off, I'm chop it up and stuff like that, man. So this was great. I think this is a great way to end this live, and I'm gonna try to come on every day, every night, and we have these discussions. And I appreciate you. And I'm gonna have to hit you up in your DM because I do want to do the genealogy, and I want to have you on my show too on YouTube. I want to do one with you by yourself and Halo by herself, and you and Halo together on the live. So that'll be, yeah, that'll be real good. So man, any last words you want to close out with?
Yes, I love your program. I love
Thank
your
you.
live, really cool vibe, and we do need to have these discussions, and you provide the atmosphere to do that, where I don't have to feel like so guarded. I was able to just state my points, and I remained
Right.
on mute. So I just
Right.
hope future conversations stay the same way. But yeah, so I'm glad we had this conversation, and thank you for having me tonight, so that I was
Hey
able to
man,
have the conversation
anytime,
with that
love.
guy.
Anytime. And I appreciate you, love. And you have a blessed one. You heard?
You too. All right, peace.
Peace. Hey, everybody, make sure y'all go follow her. Follow her right now. All right.
Wait, wait, wait,
BX.
wait, wait. My page is private. I don't just accept
Oh,
anybody. Because I protect
gotcha.
my peace. My room is an
Right.
echo chamber. I do go live. It is an echo chamber where foundational Black Americans can come vent. We don't really talk too much strategy. We keep that in the back chat, but we do education. We just started calling me the professor. So
Oh,
some people
shucks
owe
now.
me. Some students owe me homework assignments. I really have to get to start seeing people more before I accept them on my timeline, but that's just to protect my peace, just because of the way I'm
Right.
so outspoken. And I've been doxxed before, so people look for any little bit of information about me to try to embarrass me.
Yeah.
As you see, the lady did in the comment, "Oh, your children are," that type
Yep.
of shit.
Ashley.
So yeah, as long as I interact with your followers, your community here on your page, I'm sure they'll get on my followers list. But right now, we just gonna keep it right here.
Right. Hey man, you have a blessed one, love, and you
You
stay up.
too. All right, you
Peace.
too. Thank you. Peace.
Peace. Word. That's what I'm talking about, man. Word. This is what I'm saying. And I need y'all to make sure that y'all stay in tune. Follow me if you haven't. Please go to all Viral Access Media on YouTube and subscribe there. The link is on my profile page here on TikTok. The link, it should show. I will hope so, but it's there. Click on that, and we'll be back. I'll be back later on this evening. I know it's Friday. Y'all gonna be shaking your behinds and all that stuff. So enjoy, be safe, and all that good stuff, man. So with that being said, much love. I love my FBAs. We listen, man. This is a great time in history, and we living in it. We live in it in real time. This time period in history is going to be talked about from hundreds of years from now. So I know y'all know, but this is always for the ones that's in the back, that's hard headed. This is an important time. So stay on code, teach your children, teach the ones that want to hear, teach your loved ones, and always remember you can't save everybody. And that's the only thing we have to understand. If they don't want to be saved, don't get emotional. Move the on. Peace, god damn it.